Welcome to AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamorous Anjulie, who's kind of having some technical difficulties right now. Her camera hopefully will come in, but what's going on, Anjulie?
Yeah, right now, having all the difficulties. My dog is whining, my neighbors are being loud. Welcome to another Monday recap, y'all.
Yep. And welcome, Skye Inc. Skye Inc. is in the chat. Hello, how are you? Tonight we're going to be discussing the final of the Big Four of the year, and my final Big Four, because I actually went to Survivor Series. I was there last night in attendance. I've been to all the Big Four except for Survivor Series. I finally completed my bucket list and went last night, so thank you to Raj for the road. As you guys know, Road Dog. Raj, he joined me there. So he's been to 3 of the 4. He's missed Survivor Series. He missed SummerSlam. SummerSlam is something I went to with my father when I was younger. It was actually the night that Stone Cold broke his neck against Owen Hart, so that was kind of crazy. But yeah, I was there for that. So that was the only one he's missing, so I told him in the future, if it comes in our area and he wants to go, I will gladly help him finish off being part of the top 4 as well. So, what were your thoughts on the show, Delisha, before we get into the matches?
Into the show, I didn't have a lot of expectations because this was probably as far as I've been watching, I can't say in history, one of the worst build-ups to Survivor Series I've ever seen. They really only built up the 2 matches, honestly, until it's like they forgot they had Survivor Series from the last 2 weeks. They were like, "Oh snaps, we got to build up for this," and then they started. But overall, I think it was an enjoyable show with some good wrestling content going on.
Yeah, so for me, I guess I wouldn't know about the build up since I would fast forward through everything. And if I don't see Alexa Bliss or anyone else I like, and she has been off TV, so I didn't really see her. I feel like I did see a lot of actually I didn't see anything of anybody really. But when I was there, I saw the packages. I was like, okay, now I see what's going on. Unfortunately, the most packages we saw this is going into what I was seeing about the show, is that the most packages we saw while we were there were of The Rock's 25th anniversary. So a lot of the crowd was getting hyped to see
The Rock. There are no men like me.
To see The Rock.
Only me.
Be there. And unfortunately, that wasn't happening. So that was kind of a big letdown for me. But I still enjoyed it, being there and being part of the final, completing the bucket list. That was a huge thing for me. But the Rock would have been making it probably one of the best pay-per-views I've been to. Luckily, I've seen The Rock at WrestleMania twice, I think. So that was all right, or 3 times, 2 or 3 times, whatever it was. Yeah, 2 or 3 times. Welcome, Halo. 2 or 3. So it was all right, but that would have been huge if The Rock was there. I would have erupted. That would have been amazing for me because how much I love The Rock, and I go by his nickname here for this show, at least, the People's Champ. So yeah. So spoiler already. The Rock did not show up. It was weird because towards the end of the night, people were leaving early, and I'm like, what the hell? Why are they leaving early? What if The Rock shows up? That'd be huge. They're going to miss that. So, if he shows up tonight on Raw, I'll be kind of upset. I mean, they could do it for ratings, but it would be a surprise. So, I don't know if they could actually get the ratings unless it's on DVR. For a pay-per-view, they should have... I know, there was a woman sitting next to me. We had a small row, which is amazing. We had really good seats, and we had there was only 5 people in our row, myself, Raj, and a woman and her 2 children. And I asked a little boy, I'm like, oh, are you excited? This is your first pay-per-view? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you think The Rock's going to come tonight? I'm like, because I don't know, about if the kids know who The Rock is. I know they know who The Rock is, but, I don't know how much The Rock impacted their wrestling, because they're, younger kids. So, how much The Rock has impacted their wrestling, I guess, fandom. Maybe they saw him face John Cena at WrestleMania, possibly, and stuff like that, and feud with John Cena. But other than that, they really haven't seen The Rock through the Attitude Era. I don't think I don't think they're old enough. But I asked him, oh, do you think The Rock's gonna come? Are you excited to see him? He's like, oh yeah, I really want to see The Rock. It'd be really cool. And the mother's like, I hope The Rock comes to spend a lot of money for these tickets. So that was kind of funny. But unfortunately, The Rock was not there, and a lot of people went home disappointed. Another thing I gotta say about the crowd, though, I've been to I think the majority of the pay-per-views in this area I've been to... Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, it might be split down 50-50. Have been in New York. I live in New Jersey, but I go to the pay-per-views in New York as well because it's not too far for me to go. So I've seen a few in Madison Square Garden. I've seen a few at Barclays. And you and I have gone to Barclays for TakeOver and stuff. But I've been to ones in, the Prudential Center in New Jersey, and even back in the day, Continental Airlines Arena before it was he's too busy working out before they moved to the Devils, and all the events moved to the Prudential Center in New Jersey. But the New York crowd is brutal. The New York crowd is brutal. Like they really let the wrestlers have it, and it got to the point where some of the fans were like, you could hear like they were like, come on, stop being jerks, to like, because like, I'll get to it when we get to that point in the match. I could tell, or that point in the evening, but like there were times that it was just not cool. It wasn't cool, and like I felt really bad for some of the wrestlers in the ring and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm gonna ask you too when we get to that point if you could hear the crowd and what they were saying and what they were doing.
Oh yeah, in my headphones.
Okay, so you heard it too. Okay, good. I don't know if it came across on camera or not, or on the show live, but there it was really bad. You could like my section especially was like, stop being jerks to the people who were starting the chants. But I will give you the one thing that started everything in New York was the "You Suck" chant when Angle came out. So we were at Monday Night Raw when Triple H returned from his torn quad, and Kurt Angle came and interrupted his promo, and that's when the "You Suck" chant started. And that's carried to this day, so that's pretty big. That New York crowd started that, I believe. So they do some good things, but this was really brutal last night, and we'll get to that. So without further ado, the pre-show match was featuring the Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura representing, I'm assuming SmackDown. Like after the shakedown, I never know what brand anybody's on, but I'm assuming SmackDown against the U.S. Champion. Oh, he was also accompanied by his guitarist Rick Boogs. Against the U.S. champion Damian Priest, and I believe Felicia, you're covering this, right?
Yeah, but like quick thoughts about The Rock. I mean, they heavily implied that he might be there, especially with this being, the 25th, his 25th Survivor Series anniversary of his. That was his debut match, right?
Debut pay-per-view, yeah.
No, well, okay. But they never said he would be there. Honestly, and it probably was WWE playing it up to add in some ticket sales and rate in viewership by like implying that he might be there, but they actually never made any promises.
Right.
So it is disappointing that he wasn't there. Not even like a little video FaceTime message. I don't know, at this point Facebook Messenger would have worked at this point, but it was a little disappointing that not even something like that for like a 10-second clip. But like what I was telling when I was talking to Joe last night, I was like, well, they never promised he would be there, and fans, every time they want to speculate about things, whether it's in this fandom or a different fandom, when things don't go the way that they thought it would, they do tend to be mad. But you can not you, Kyle, but in general, you can only blame yourself. You're going to get mad at a speculation that was never confirmed.
Okay, but to that point though, they like Raj actually noted this. Like he actually saw that. Like I don't know if they showed it for you guys, but they showed Rock promos like every 45 minutes to an hour throughout the pay-per-view. I don't know if they carried it over to TV, but in the arena they played Rock memories of Survivor for his 25 years of Survivor Series or whatever anniversary. And as they did it, it was chronologically in order. So Raj noted that it was chronological from his debut to one match like 4 years after his debut to like 8 years after his debut to like most recently 2 years ago. So it was like chronologically going. So like you think it's getting more and more recent. They even did his movie. They promoted his movie. They had a backstage segment with Vince McMahon in his movie. Like it was a lot. Yeah. And if you think about it, like John Cena first surprised everyone at Extreme Rules. Then Brock Lesnar surprised everyone at SummerSlam. So we would, it would have been pretty big if The Rock surprised everyone at Survivor Series. That would have been great. But yeah.
Sure. And like I said, even if it was just like a little video package that he shot because he couldn't physically be there. I mean, The Rock has like 15 movies a month coming out. So he's probably hard to get. But they were showing those packages before. But I feel like on one of these like Taker milestones, they did the same thing and he showed up like 2 weeks later. So they are not, this is nothing new for them to do, honestly. But I feel like they wanted to get him,
right?
But they couldn't. But there was like, well, we did all these packages anyway, might as well just put them on air.
Well, it wasn't just the packages, it was like the movie promo too, the Red Note, and then the whole segment with Red. It was a lot of like roads leading to The Rock being there.
Yeah,
that's what was the most disappointing thing, I don't know.
I mean, I get it, because I was disappointed that it didn't lead to anything. And we'll talk about it with the not the first match, but the battle royal coming up later. That was pointless as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it was disappointing. But I actually didn't even go in expecting to see him, because I was just like, it's WWE, and there really hasn't been anything saying that he actually would be there. So, and usually we'll get something about that.
Well,
especially, yeah.
They WWE knew I was there, so they should have had him. That's all.
Right. Okay, so I'll talk about the matches that actually did happen, or the superstars who did actually appear on television. I texted this, but I know you were at the event and actually watching it. But this was disappointing to know that this was going to be on the pre-show, because these two guys are really good in their own right. I mean, we all know about Shinsuke Nakamura, and for those who are still maybe new to Damian Priest, who didn't see him in NXT, like, he's a really good performer, and I think they pointed out right now, since he's won the belt, he has been undefeated in singles competition on Raw. So it was kind of disappointed they wouldn't really showcase that on the actual pay-per-view, but I feel like by now they've done this over and over again with a lot of the mid-card or non WWE championships. So we really shouldn't be surprised at this point, but it was still like, oh, you can put down the pre-show. But we had Nakamura coming out, like I said, with his I don't know if I want to call him do we call him a valet? Is that
I guess so.
He's not really a manager, but he's just like his opening guitar sidekick, so to speak. And that will come into play throughout the match, as anytime Damian Priest got any type of momentum coming in to push Shinsuke away, Blues would play the guitar, and if the camera was always panned right, I just love the attention to detail of Pat McAfee in the background, always jamming out whenever Rick played the guitar. It's a running joke he's been doing on SmackDown, and it cracks me up every time. I don't know why, but it just does. But for those who fast forward through Raw, they have been playing up a more edgier part to his party rock star character for Damian Priest, to where he's kind of being a little bit more aggressive and edgier, especially when things are not going away. I mean, he has been paired up more with more heels, so when they're doing more heel tactics, more recently in a match with, God, I hate to say this, T-Bar, or Dominic Dijakovic, if you know him from that. I think he got himself, not Damien, T-Bar got himself disqualified by hitting him with a chair, and Damien just went in rage, and you can see him getting continuously annoyed with Rick Boogs every time he played the guitar. I mean, I would too if I was in a match and you kept hitting this guitar. I mean, hitting these guitars as I'm trying to run a match. But every time he did that, it would give Nakamura the edge over him, giving him a lot of the moves that we are used to, his, I guess, tamed strong style moves that we're used to now, with spinning heel kicks and kinshasas and rolling up pins, just trying to get a more faster paced offense on Damian Priest. But Priest, being the bigger guy, was able to get out of it and try to go on for the more powerhouse aggressive moves that he's known for as well. Ooh. So he went for his one of his signature moves of a Falcon Arrow for a near fall, and then again those two would continue to go back and forth with their offenses. Again, Rick Boogs getting involved with his guitar to finally Priest just couldn't take it anymore. He gets out and smashes the guitar, and I believe he hit Boogs with the guitar as well before swinging on Nakamura as he tried to go in for the, not a sneak attack from behind, but to get the advantage. But of course the ref saw it, giving Damien a DQ, meaning Shinsuke won that match. And I would say that it was a win for SmackDown, but they didn't really care about the point system as they used to in the past, so I don't think we are either.
Oh,
It didn't even come into play. during this night. I mean, they would be like, "Oh yeah, it's a win for SmackDown, win for Raw," but there was never any counter. Oh, the usual, Raw ups, 2 wins over nothing or anything like that. So I was like, they didn't bother, so why should we? But if you are counting at home, that would mean the first win would go to SmackDown.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you. Oops, sorry. That's what I was gonna ask you because I was gonna ask, did they show a graphic of who was winning the night? Because I kept in my head, like, not that I knew who Raw and SmackDown was, but I kind of surmised what it was. And, like, I predicted ahead of time, like, okay, well, if this many people have this many wins now, the next 2 matches have to go to these people to make it even so that the final match will matter the most. But, it didn't end up being like that, I don't think. But I guess, like you said, they didn't put up a graphic, so that's kind of weird. But, yeah, this match got a lot of buzz during the match. I mean, I guess because it was an opening match, so yeah, people were like excited about the pay per view starting and stuff. And Rick Books got a lot of support behind him. People really enjoyed him. And then when his guitar broke, people got really mad. Then how it ended in disqualification, people are really pissed. I guess because that means Damian Priest is turning heel. I don't know. But it was a very fun match, very well wrestled. It looked a little bit more sloppy in person there for this match, but I like to call those out. But other than that, it looked like a solid match. I think camera angles really do help for making things look safer, look more hard hitting. But things are actually safer when you watch it there because like certain things are not hitting as hard and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good match. It was fun to watch. I wanted Shinsuke to win kind of cleanly, but unfortunately he won. He won with Damian Priest. What do you call it? Disqualifying himself. So, fun match though. So 1-0 SmackDown. We will keep score here. I was gonna put a little graphic, but I'm like, nah, that's too much work. Next match featured the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch fighting against the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair.
So this is I really should have gone back and like counted what number time these 2 have gone against each other, but I'm just going to go with a rough estimate of 1,346, roughly, give or take a few matches. But there has been a lot of build up around this particular match, mainly off screen with interviews that these 2 have been doing about each other. At first I thought maybe, I was like, oh, snaps, they're really beefing backstage, stuff like that. But as I kept hearing more and they kept leaning more into it, I do think that, there probably is some more like ego-ish feelings between like friends. But I really do think this was all just a shoot to really hype up their match in the end. Or, they could have just took a real situation and made it even more real on the mat, which, WWE's prone to, wrestling in general is prone to do. But it did make this particular match have a little edge to it as they're both kind of more at the top of their game, with Becky being this more like as she's calling herself big time Bex, and Flair is being Flair. Her character honestly has never changed, but it did lean into business. Like, okay, it'll be a little bit more edgier, maybe fighting style than what we used to see. And Flair right away went after Lynch with a right hand to push her into the corner of the mat, and then going in for a flurry of punches and attacks. Lynch would counter with trying to get to disarm her onto Flair, and which I think Charlotte like pulled Becky's hair to get out of it, and then they kind of rolled to the outside, started fighting on the outside, and then they kind of, to keep on that edgier, more I guess aggressive matches, but they kind of made this more of a fight than actually wrestling. You can't see me because my camera's off, but quote air quotes wrestling matches. Was trying to do more strikes and more punches, just to really give it that oh my gosh I hate you type of feel, which is why I always also watch this match. Everything before that was like a big shoot to really hype this up. Excuse me. Okay, and then we get Flair doing her patented moonsault, in which she misses most of the person she's trying to hit on all the time. At this point, I don't even know why we call it a moonsault. At this point, it much like what is it? Is it Sasha Banks' frog splash? It doesn't really hit the mark, so to speak. But we again them going back and forth for his punches, and finally Becky does get a proper just. Actually, no. Flair would actually put the disarm her on Becky, which actually a lot of people, I feel like they don't do that a lot anymore, of like putting the other like wrestler submission move on them. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, I mean, not different, but go. Haven't seen Flair use that in a bit on her opponent using their submission against them. Although Lynch would try to return the favor by putting Charlotte, I believe, in the figure four. I don't think she got quite to the figure eight portion yet. So Charlotte was able to like roll over to reverse the roll up. So it was funny because the patent, they know each other so well. They know what the move they're going to do next. But after that, Flair would try to get a roll up by holding the ropes, but the ref, I believe, caught her. So Lynch, as we jokingly say, thanks to Simon, I believe in World Culture, the most devastating move in wrestling entertainment, Lynch will go for a roll up, but in a smarter way, looking at the ref to see where his head placement is, so that by the time he got to 2, then she grabs the rope to keep her on for 3, and Becky gets the win, giving Raw its first win. Overall, the match was good. I didn't think they was going to put on a bad match with given these two's talent, but it's just like, I've seen this before. But now that they're on different brands, we won't have to worry about it for a little bit. So I'm happy with that, and Becky can move on to her opponents, and Charlotte can have her opponents, and we can, or Melanie can be happy. But did you enjoy the match? Was it as good as, I guess, TV edits as it was in person?
All right, yeah. So I have a few points that I want to make one as you're going through it. I love how you said it was kind of like a grudge match, more of like not a wrestling match, but like a brawl. I like that you said that because it definitely came across that way with a lot of the hard hits and slapping and punching and stuff like that. At one point when they were slapping each other, Raj says, "Oh, I could hear that, like legit hear that." It wasn't like when they slap their leg when they punch somebody or super kick. It was like a legit slap, and we could hear it from where we were. So that was like good that you mentioned that. You asked, you said, how did things look from my angle or whatever. Well, that you're talking about that moonsault that like almost never hits. From our angle, she missed by like 4 feet. Like, she legit missed. And, like, Raj called it right away. He's like, oh, my God, she missed by, like, so much. So, I don't know how it looked. I think it was safer or whatever, like I was saying in person. But, like, on camera, maybe it looked better on camera for you guys because, like, the way the camera angled it. But on where we were, like, she missed by so much. The moonsault to the outside.
I almost choked on my water. But, no, on camera, it looks like she just hit her arm rather than, like, her body, what she's supposed to be aiming for.
Yeah, Becky kind of put her arm out to like try to take some damage, but like it was kind of stupid. I guess Charlotte tried to disarm her there, But yeah. Another thing that it wasn't real though. It could be real because like I know like when Adam Cole went on the Pat McAfee show, they started a grudge there that carried over to the wrestling thing, and they do all those kind of like shoot storylines into wrestling, but I think there is some backstage beef between them because and I don't know if they're just selling it on like in the mainstream media and stuff, but like Becky Lynch recently was on Ariel Helwani's podcast or whatever and saying she's having a lot of trouble working with Charlotte because of her ego and stuff like that. So there could be partially some feelings there, like you were saying. But fun fact about Ariel Helwani, he walked by me twice. Last night with his kids when they were going to the food stand. His seats were like down low.
Is he like a wrestling podcast?
I think now he started doing it, but he started out working for the UFC. He started out doing like what we do, right? And he did it for the UFC and MMA, and then the UFC made him an official like backstage interviewer, like how Lillian Garcia was back in the day or whoever. I don't know the people nowadays, but Mackenzie Mitchell and those people like JoJo and Renee Young and all those people. Then he became one of those people for UFC. Then they had some falling out, and now he's back to doing his own podcast. But I think he added wrestling to his thing. Besides, I don't know. Welcome, Slater. How you doing? But yeah, what was the reason for what, Skye?
Because we were talking about Becky calling herself the man. I said she had an actual reason for that.
Okay.
I'll text it to you in a second.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, that was good. But the fans were really behind the match. They did actually have some "Let's Go Charlotte" things. I think there was something in their Kool-Aid or something, because we all know that no one likes Charlotte Flair. And yeah, so it was a good match. Like the fans were really behind the match. They got like one of the best reactions throughout the night because it was early on. You know, it was the opening match, I believe, of the actual pay-per-view itself. So that's why it got a lot of like heat behind it or cheering behind it, whatever you want to call it. But a lot of reaction. It was really good to watch that and hear that. And the fans were really behind it. They put up a good match. And the ending, I mean, I don't know. I always complain how Charlotte never loses cleanly in a one-on-one pay-per-view match. She's only lost like twice, and they're both to Bailey. And I don't think this was even cleanly because Becky held the ropes. But, you know, I just love watching Charlotte Flair lose. And but otherwise, it was a good match. And a lot of people there were, I don't know. Let's go to the next one, which featured... Oh, so now, yeah, like you said, 1-1, Raw, SmackDown. I just read Bobby's reaction. Next match was the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 match featuring Team Raw. Was Team Raw featuring Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Austin Theory, and Bobby Lashley, accompanied by MVP, against Team SmackDown featuring Drew McIntyre, Jeff Hardy, King... I want to say King Booker, but that's not King Booker. King Xavier, Sheamus, Happy Corbin, and whatever that guy's name. I have no idea what this guy's name is. Garage asked me last night. I'm like, it's like Mad Dog Minigan or something like that or something. I don't know what his name is, but Delisha, what's his name?
Madcap something.
There you go. See, like no one knows his name. Anyway, that's the guy that's with Happy Corbin. All right, so and I think Delisha and we picked our matches like I guess like what is it, Saturday night? We picked our matches, and they happened to put like all Delisha's matches in a row. This hasn't happened for a while, but they put like all of Delicia's matches in a row and then my matches. So, go ahead, Delicia.
Yeah, because I was like trying to respond to Skye. I was like, oh wait, no, that's my matchup next too. So Skye, I will answer you in a second after this recap. So, as it is with any like multiple tag team match, it's really hard to really recap like what was going on throughout the match. So I'll just recap the highlight points. But it's really honestly when I was talking about how they realized 2 weeks ago that they had a Survivor Series match to put on. It kind of really showed in this match as well. I mean, all great talent. Like nobody here on either side is like, really? That's who you go with? Okay, maybe Austin Theory, but that was more of a logic continuity problem that I had, not for actual talent, because Austin Theory is really talented in the ring. But we start off with Owens and Rollins arguing about who will start the match. Again, if you don't watch Raw or fast forward, Owens has gone heel again. As he was being frustrated, people, I guess, questioning his loyalty to people as a face. So he's just like, well, F it, if you're gonna make me the bad guy, I'm gonna be the bad guy. And he, went in the ring, said, I'm going to start fired up as if he was going to go, be the first man out to be in the match. And then he just was like, screw it, I'm out, and just left. And which left his whole team, including Seth, really perplexed. But apparently Seth Rollins has a very short memory because he basically did the same thing last year on that team, except for he just laid down to be pinned, I believe, not counted out. So, turnabout's fair play stuff. Karma. But so that would leave Woods. I believe he pulled in Austin Theory to start out the match. But it was just a lot of back and forth of people hitting their power moves and getting matchups we wouldn't likely see sometimes on a one-on-one. Excuse me, sneezes going on galore. With people putting in the moves, just the highlight reels. I'm trying to think who was the first elimination. But I think Balor came in, but he was also getting isolated by the Raw team. I might just say Raw team and SmackDown team just to keep it simple. But he was the one who eliminated Corbin with his is it the coup de grace? Is that what it's called? After one of those like big move sets. And then we did get a return of, Lashley putting in the Hurt Lock on everybody, but eventually on the actual active man of Woods, Unfortunately, he had to go out to the Hurt Lock. But I don't think he actually tapped. I think he was like the whole like passed out type of deal. I don't. But your arms are kind of flailing, so sometimes I don't know if they're actually tapping or if the ref's just saying they're just out for the count. And then we would get a return of Lashley v. McIntyre, which was like a lot of our, I guess, the beginning of this year or starting or last back half of last year into this year. That was a big feud, so they kind of got to renew that a little bit. He would take out McIntyre on the ring post on the outside, so that would leave McIntyre out for a little bit. And then they would go on and brawl. Again, bringing these are two big men. How do we get them out to make them still look strong? You count them both out, and then they're eliminated, and you don't have to worry about them being pinned or anything. But after that, Balor was next, getting eliminated by Sheamus with a bro kick after he missed a coup de grace again. This time, as he tried to go to finish off Sheamus, but he wound up getting pinned. And I believe, then this brought us Rollins and the young up-and-comer for Raw, that is Austin Theory, versus the two vets of Sheamus and Hardy, which they wanted to point out as well that Sheamus and Hardy both have beef from being on SmackDown before the draft, and a lot of stuff that happened with them. So it was like, are they going to get along to get the win for SmackDown? But Theory managed to get a pin on Sheamus with a roll up holding the tights because Hardy had got pulled off from the outside. But this was after it's like a little cool moment of Sheamus and Hardy doing the what is it called when he has them on the ropes and beating them on the tights? What is it? No, oh yeah, they did do that as well, which was kind of cool. And but no, I mean when Sheamus has his opponent for the ropes and he's beating him on the chest.
The Irish hand grenades or whatever?
Sure. Yeah. I don't know the answer of it either. You could have told me it was called the Irish tap dance, and I was like, sure. But that was those were like two little cool like partner moments. But like I said, Sheamus did get pinned by Austin Theory. And true to Sheamus being a heel, he clotheslined his own partner in Hardy out of frustration before leaving Hardy on its own, being against 2-on-1. But he was able to get a Swanton Bomb on, I believe, Theory to leave him against Rollins. Ooh, excuse me. And then in a cool attempt, because you don't see this a lot, Hardy countered the stomp by like holding onto his foot. I think we saw Edge do it too, but it doesn't happen like a lot of times. When it does happen, you noticed it. And then went for the twist of fate, but Rollins got his knees up, and with that allowed him to get the pin. And Team Raw has defeated Team SmackDown, leaving Raw 2-1. But like even though it was kind of like sloppy in the beginning, and like I said, they threw it all together last minute. I did enjoy the match overall. Like I said, there were some really good spots. These matches are really just a spot fest anyway, for everyone to get in like their signature moves and hype up the crowd. But I still enjoyed it. What about you?
Yeah, before I get into the match, Welcome Entertained, and Entertained actually brought up a really good point. He said that it would be cool if they like he was saying how like when you win the Royal Rumble, you get to challenge the champion of your choosing, right, at WrestleMania. It would be cool if this match, because Survivor Series is known for these, elimination tag matches. That's like its bread and butter kind of thing. What started out back in the day was only these matches, pretty much, except for like maybe the heavyweight championship match. Other than that, and the Intercontinental Championship match, but these were like the core matches of Survivor Series in the past. And he said it would be cool if these mattered. These matches mattered. If they had some meaning that would carry over to another pay-per-view. I have a great idea for this, where piggybacking off of what Entertain says, is maybe whoever the winning team is, whatever members are left might get to pick the balls out of the it's like the ball, like there's a small thing of balls, like ping pong balls, maybe number 20 through 30 for the Royal Rumble, entries 20 through 30, and the winning team gets to pick from that, so they get like to get into the Royal Rumble later, for the remaining members. Maybe the farther you get, you take from that pool of, lottery balls or something. I don't know. Something like that would be cool to add to make this match more significant and mean more. So yeah, I think that's a good idea of Entertained, and I think that's how they could possibly go about doing it. Because the next major pay-per-view, as in Big Four, would be Royal Rumble. So maybe having them getting preferred picks in the Royal Rumble entry order. The only problem with that is, what if they get fired? Because everyone gets fired every day. Or something. Yeah, the winning team gets draft immunity, or the winning team gets drafted. That's even good too. But yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch of things they could do that would be cool if they carry over. All right, so now for the match. What?
I was going to say, I was actually going to bring that up at the end because I feel the same way too. Especially in the last... Okay, outside of the one where NXT was involved, because that was just added just a different dynamic to everything. But if Survivor Series hasn't meant anything to brand supremacy since I feel like the initial first split of the draft or whatever.
And Invasion with WCW and all that. That was pretty important.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean like the legit SmackDown versus Raw.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it hasn't really gained any momentum since then. So, yeah, and it was even brought up by Becky Lynch herself in an interview that she said, yeah, we're all going to be competitive and everything, but it really isn't for anything. That's not those her exact words. That's what she meant before she tried to cover it up with, like, commodities and stuff like that. Yeah, it's meant to nix this pay-per-view altogether, but they won't because it's one of their big fours, or add an extra element to it.
Yeah, I really feel like that's necessary. I feel like it should be for maybe this match only, but like then what happens for everyone else throughout the night? I think that's more like bragging rights, because like if you remember, I don't know if you noticed, but after the match, I don't know if they showed it on camera, but whichever champion won kind of got the other champion's face, like, I'm better than you, this is the better title kind of thing. They kind of did that at the end of every... So that could be like for bragging rights between champions, but I feel like these exact like tag team Survivor Series classic style matches should have some meaning, because otherwise people like Kevin Owens just walks out, right? Or like you said last year, Seth Rollins lays down. Like, why? It's bad for the fans, it's bad for the business, I believe. So I mean, it tells a story somewhat, but it's not that much of a good story. It's an old story. It's hackneyed. It's cliche. We don't need that anymore. So that's why I make this match mean something. This specific Survivor Series elimination tag match, make it mean something and give them incentive for it. Like, the All-Star games in mostly all sports, baseball, hockey, football, and basketball. The winning team, like the Eastern Western Conference, now they do different types of styles anyway. But whatever, the winning team gets a pay bonus, right? Stuff like that. Like that would mean, just for me, maybe they don't really have to give them money, but for storyline's sake, they get an extra pay bonus. Something that would make it seem like it means something. Because I feel like this is a very significant pay-per-view, like you said, Big Four. But I don't know. I feel like there are times like when your own team attacks each other. I saw that in the Battle Royal. Why were Raw people teaming against Raw people and SmackDown people teaming against SmackDown people? Like, it makes no sense. Like, make this mean something. Anyway. One hilarious moment was when everyone was giving Austin Theory a chop because like he's the rookie, and like they actually saw the humor on their face. They're doing it, and his chest was actually beat red. So that was kind of like a welcome to the big leagues kid moment. But I'm gonna ask you this: who do you think got the biggest pop of the night? I don't know if it played off on TV or not, but who do you think got the biggest pop of the night? I think it's kind of obvious, but maybe, I don't want to know how it seemed for you guys.
Jeff, for some reason, I mean, not for... Well, okay. He always seems to get a huge reward, no matter where he is, even though the man's, like, almost 50 years old. So I do remember that, and now I'm like, wait, who else was in this match?
No, not this. I mean, of all night, in all night.
Oh, all night.
Yeah.
Okay, now that's tough, more tough to remember. I don't know. Who was it?
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't The Rock. It was actually his nephew or whatever. It's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns got the biggest pop of the night when he came out. His entrance. When his entrance music hit, okay. The whole place erupted. But like that's why I was asking you that question. Surprisingly, the second biggest pop of the night went to Jeff Hardy, and that makes no sense because no one likes Jeff Hardy, first of all. So I don't know why he got the second biggest pop of the night. Made no sense to me. Maybe they're just happy that he was sober. I guess they're like, oh yeah, 50 days sober, whatever he is. But yeah,
I do also remember whenever Sasha and Bianca were like facing off each other, like the crowd was really into that as well.
I just mean like when they come out, like when they came out for entrances.
Oh, when they just
yeah.
Okay.
The pop like that happens, yeah.
Gotcha.
Not the fan reaction like during those moments, but yeah, that was also the thing. No one likes Jeff Hardy, And so yeah, he got a big pop, and the fans were really behind him, and that was like, for a veteran, it was cool to see, but it made no sense to me. But it was a fun match. I hated how people get counted out. I hated how Kevin Owens walked out, stuff like that. But Austin Theory, he did a cool move, I think. Lashley was dominant, which is awesome to see. And Seth Rollins, I don't know if you heard it. Did you hear what they were calling Seth Rollins when he was in the match?
No.
They're saying Becky's husband. They were chanting Becky's husband the entire time, like when he was in the match.
That's funny.
So like that. So I don't know if that came across. That was the first moment where the crowd was kind of like dickish to the person in the ring. But yeah, so it was a good match.
I think it might have just been like a fun jab at Seth. Like,
yeah,
I don't think they minded that one because they still love to watch him.
They do love to watch him, but it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like how the Kurt Angle's "you suck" thing is like that, like that. But I don't know. It was good. I actually got a good video of the Swanton because I knew everyone would pop for that. I got a good video of the Swanton, the first Swanton happening, where he got the pin, so that was cool. But yeah, this was a good match. Like I said, I wish it meant more, like Entertainment was saying, and then it would be more dynamic and have more interest in it, I believe. All right, the next match was I don't know how many people were in this, maybe 30 man or something man battle royale. I don't think
25, but
25.
Could have been 50 for all we know, but yeah.
But yeah, neither of us said we're gonna take this match, so I guess I'll just take it because it was. I mean, nothing really happened in this match besides AJ kind of staying outside the ring the entire time, and Cesaro. There weren't any really good big moments. Like there weren't honestly good big moments except for like almost dominating everything. There's some goofy pizza moments that happened because I guess Pizza Hut sponsored this match or something. But I think at the end it came down to like almost against like the Viking Raiders and Street Profits, and maybe one and Ricochet was hiding in the corner. I was really rooting for Ricochet because I want to see him do something. But basically almost eliminated everybody. He accidentally eliminated AJ Styles. He tried to help AJ Styles, but AJ Styles got eliminated when I think the big guy for Apollo Crews' guy, whatever, pulled him out. And at the end,
not that one,
Commander Aziz or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, eventually almost threw everyone out except for Ricochet, and everyone thought we'd have a David versus Goliath moment where Ricochet eliminates almost, but that did not happen. I'm like, well, at least if Ricochet does get the round, he'll make a cool ass like bump, but no, that didn't even happen either. It didn't look that cool. He just got the round normally. But yeah, that was about it. Like, almost they're still promoting him or pushing him, and I think it's so stupid. Like, he's not very good in the ring. Hopefully he gets better. He's been working with Kevin Nash, but I don't think it's showing at all. He doesn't really have any personality behind him either. He's kind of like the Great Khali, but Great Khali's part of my Indian stable, so there's that. He's at least got that. Almost got nothing for him besides hanging with AJ. But yeah, almost was your champion. Oh yeah, so after that, when Raw was up 2-1, and now they're up 3-1. And I didn't like how Raw people are fighting Raw people and SmackDown people were fighting SmackDown people. Made no sense to me. What'd you think of this?
This battle royal was so well. At this point, unless it's every battle royal they usually always have, that doesn't include the Royal Rumble. So when Almost won, I was just like, yeah, another reason. Another battle royal that meant nothing because this match, it didn't get them anything. I don't. Like I said, after the match, I don't even think they even, acknowledged that Almost was fighting for Raw and he won a match for Raw. And, we get it. He's big. He's strong. That's it. We need more than that. If you take him away from AJ, he has nothing. So, they better get with the program real quick or they're going to see how sloppy he really is. And, I hate to say it because I don't want to say that about anybody on the roster, honestly, but he's so boring. Anytime he's on screen, I just roll my eyes and I'm just like, all right, let's get through this match or segment or whatever we're doing with him this time.
Yeah, I think I would have meant to Ricochet. Yeah, he can't take most finishers either. That's true. It would have been cool to see Ricochet or Cesaro win. That would have been cool to see, but went to another bald guy. All right. Next match featured the Raw Tag Team Champions. Team RK Bro featuring Randy Orton and Matt Riddle against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, represented by Jimmy and Jay Uso. This match, I don't know if you heard the crowd during this match. I'll get to that point in a moment, but Orton and Riddle kind of dominated in the beginning for a little while until the so like Riddle was doing actually some cool suplexes and kicks, and I remember the people in the audience were like kick, because they knew it was like moveset. They got, I think, one of the Usos to the outside, but then after that, the Usos came back by doing some high-flying maneuvers and doing some suicide dives out to the apron, out the ring to the floor, and they slammed, I think, Matt Riddle on the outside into the barricade. Then they started working on Randy Orton. Randy Orton got some punches in, but then the Usos were able to... Oh, wait, Randy Orton hit one of the Usos onto their announcer's table. I do remember that. But then when he went for the RKO, the other Uso super kicked him, and he fell into Riddle. And then Riddle just got pummeled for the rest of the match for a while. And Orton's on the outside for some stupid reason. On the outside, and everyone's like, Orton sleeping. And then he finally got up and tried to make a tag, but then I think the tag wasn't made. The Usos started dominating again, and Orton got thrown to the outside again. Everyone's like, Orton sleeping again. And then one of the Usos went for the splash on the top. While that was happening, they were trying to do it onto Matt Riddle. While that was happening, Randy Orton rolled into the ring and hit the RKO on the Uso, and he actually did a DX chop and pointed at the audience and said, "I'm not sleeping." He kind of went like that, "I'm not sleeping," and then he pinned the Uso and they got the win. I don't know if this came across on camera with them saying Orton sleeping or not. But one cool thing was to see is, I don't know if this came on camera or not, if it was during the replay, but as soon as that happened, Orton went over to the Uso that he hit and said, are you okay? Because I think it might have been a botch or something. It didn't hit perfectly. He didn't catch him perfectly. He didn't protect him perfectly. But he went over to see if he's okay. And he went to go see if the other Uso was okay as well, because when they threw him into the turnbuckle, I think he might have taken that wrong as well. So, or something earlier, he might have said, he might have done it wrong. So it's nice to see a veteran like Orton take care of the younger guys, even though the Usos not that much younger. But it was nice to see his showmanship in the after the match, how he really cares for those guys. And he went over to them and said are you guys okay? Are you guys okay? I don't know if that was shown on camera or not. It might have been during the replays showing on the paper for you guys, but it was nice to see that. And then Orton after the match got up on there. He posed for a while. And said, this is for you guys. I don't know if they showed that on the camera either. He's like, I do this all for you. I'm not sleeping. This is part of how, he was mouthing. You could read his lips because he was looking right at me. He was looking at my corner where I was sitting, and I could see him saying, I do this for you guys. This is, I wasn't sleeping. This is how it goes. And I everything I did for you all these years, all these people I do for you. And this is a significant match because with him participating in this pay-per-view, he has now performed in the most pay-per-views ever in WWE history. Just surpassing Kane. He was tied to Kane the last pay-per-view, and now he surpassed Kane, so he's number one in most pay-per-views performed at. So good, congratulations, Randy Orton. And he kept posing, and they kept turning the lights off, and then they turned the lights back on for him, because he kept posing, and then they turned the lights off again. He's like, what's going on? And then he finally went to the back, and it was nice. But it was a nice, heartfelt moment that he had, and seeing that RKO was cool. But I think the fans wanted Randy in the ring more, but they really showcased Riddle's ability to do suplexes and kicks and take maneuvers and all that, his athleticism, whereas Randy Orton was kind of laying on the outside for a long time. So that was kind of disappointing because the fans really wanted to see Randy Orton. But other than that, it was a pretty good match. It was enjoyable. What'd you think?
I'm going to be completely honest. I kind of zoned out during this match. Mainly, again, because of its build-up. I just didn't have a reason to care. I did see a lot of the good spots, with the Usos doing, the double super kicks to both Randy and Riddle. And, again, like you said, Riddle doing a lot of the suplexes to kind of show off his, prowess. And then I was just oh, okay, yeah, RK, bro, won. Cool. I didn't care, yay or nay. I will say that in the last couple of weeks, there has been a lot of videos of Randy, during, house shows, going up to the kids, letting them get in their autographs and pictures and all that stuff. So it kind of feels like in his, I hate to say later years because he's still, young, but later years as a wrestler, kind of paying it forward back towards the fans. Because if you, I feel like in his younger days, he would be known as being like an a-hole or stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to see that he's kind of like returning the favor of like, you guys are the reason why I'm able to do this. Thank you, stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But otherwise, I kind of just didn't care about this match, to be honest.
I know. For you really like stories and all that stuff. But I kind of thought about it just now while you were talking about how you didn't really watch like the build up for this match. If you honestly think about it, none of Survivor Series needs a build up, other than those the five person tag team matches, right? The classic Survivor Series matches, because we know going into Survivor Series, it's champion versus champion from respective brands, right?
By build up, I mean like it was hardly like mentioned a lot on the show. It was like, oh yeah, they're gonna be facing the Usos.
But that's all you need. That's all, because you know that's gonna happen, right? Like,
I'm just saying it was just so like matter of fact, as if we're almost kind of like, oh yeah, we're facing the Usos. Yeah, cool. All right, next segment.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. There wasn't that feeling of like we're the better team, like, and we're gonna show you why, as we've kind of gotten in the past. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, and because maybe that's why, because we've gotten in the past. What else do you need to prove, right? Like, this is what's going to be, and after like they hold up the title saying like, hey, we are better than you guys, kind of thing. That's, like I said, after every match, it kind of showed that. That's why I said I feel like only the 5-on-5 match needs that build up, because why are they in the match? What are they doing? Stuff like that. Because other than like we're representing our brand, but I don't know.
I also don't think I'm enjoying Randy and Matt as a team anymore, so that might also have played a role in it.
Yeah, they'll eventually break up, because that's what always happens with Orton when you team with a Viper. Yeah, some sense of pride that's what Felicia's saying. And the stakes is what I was saying about it. They should matter. It should matter. But so now after this, I think what is it? Raw is up 4-1.
Yeah,
4-1. Yeah. The next match was your classic Survivor Series tag team match for the women, featuring the Raw team featuring Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Carmella, and Queen Zelina, against the SmackDown team featuring Sasha Banks, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi Blackheart, Natalya, and Toni Storm. Yeah, so once again, this match kind of started off with like one of those stupid eliminations, because Carmella is trying to put on her mask. I don't know why she wears the mask. I guess her face is supposed to be protected because she's the most beautiful woman in WWE, apparently. So she tried to put on the mask. She couldn't get it on. So she was pinned, rolled up by Toni Storm and pinned. A few minutes later, Toni Storm was able to pin Queen Zelina as well. And then Liv Morgan came into Liv Morgan got a huge pop as well, because she's from New Jersey, so I guess she got like a hometown pop, sort of. And she came in and did her move, which I think is called the Oblivion. She did it on Toni Storm and pinned her right after that. So Team SmackDown still had, I think it was 4-1, or 4-3, 4-3. I don't know. Was it 4-3? Yeah, 4-3. Yeah, 4-3 in favor of SmackDown people. That this caused like a lot of dissension between Shotzi Blackheart and Sasha Banks, because I guess they had some beef going into the match, but they were able to hit. Shotzi hit a terrible splash, and then Sasha Banks hit her, quote unquote frog splash, and they eliminated Liv Morgan, much to the fans' chagrin. They really liked seeing her. They gave her a lot of cheers when she went out, as she walked out. And then Rhea Ripley came in and started using her power, and she got dismantled easily by a team up of succession of moves. First, a backstabber, then reverse DT, then a knee to the face, and then she was pinned by, I think, Shayna Baszler, which left a 3-1 in favor of Shayna Baszler. Of Team SmackDown, right? I think it was, against one person from Team Raw, Bianca Belair. She did get, what was it? Form. It was a 4-on-1? Yeah, maybe it was 4-on-1. At this point, there's more dissension amongst the ranks, and all the women are outside, and Sasha Banks rolled out, and she started pushing the rest of her team, and she tried to get back in the ring, but they kept pulling her out, which made no sense to me. Like, why are you fighting amongst your team? And she got counted out, because the team wouldn't let her get back into the ring. That left 3-on-1, which was Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Shotzi Blackheart. I think the next person eliminated was Natalia was by roll up, and then Bianca hit a glam slam thing to Baszler and pinned her, and that left a 1-on-1 Bianca Belair versus Shotzi Blackheart. Shotzi came out with a flurry, but then was immediately stymied by Bianca, who had a tornado DT and then hit the KOD for the win, and Bianca was your sole survivor and giving another victory to Team Raw. Do you want me to go into what the audience was doing during this match, or do you want to give your thoughts first?
You're right.
Yeah, so during this match, the fans were starting a wave, and they got the wave going, and weren't paying attention to the match at all. It went around the arena. They also were screaming for CM Punk during the match. Some other fans started the Fozzy song that Jericho has, that his entrance theme is, whatever it's called, the Judas whatever song. They were singing that as well. They started saying AEW during this match. It was a shame because there's a lot of talented women in the ring, and instead of it being honestly, honest to God, like, this is gonna sound pretty bad, but I'd rather have had the people go to bathroom break, right? The people who didn't care for the match, they should have went for a bathroom break. Like, the whole thing back in the days that the women's match used to be the bathroom break, right? They should have probably went to the bathroom instead of being disrespecting them by, like, doing the wave, or whatever, singing AEW, chanting CM Punk, or singing Chris Jericho's thing. I don't know if, like, I'm gonna get to you in a second. I'm gonna propose a question now. Let me know which ones you heard while you were watching on TV. But let me finish with a final point for that. Was I felt like this match should have been earlier, and had maybe switch places with Becky Lynch and Charlotte match, possibly. That would have been maybe better if they did that. Yeah, so I don't know. I think if they maybe made this earlier, I think the fans would have been behind it. Like how they were behind the first match first pay-per-view match between Charlotte and Becky. If they made this the first match, the fans would have been in it. I don't think they would have disrespected the fans like that. But yeah, your thoughts, Alicia?
Yeah. The only chants that I really heard were the AEW ones and the CM Punk chats. But I did hear, like, the other part of the crowd, like, telling them to, like, shut the F up, or, like, booing them and stuff like that. So I was appreciative of people trying to clap back at them, like, hey, not cool. Like, I get it. It was a thing to do when, when one, they were in Chicago, or two, like, a match maybe wasn't going away. That's, like, their way of just showing their displeasure. But it's, like you said, it's very disrespectful to the people in the ring who are trying their best with what they're given to give you a good show. And especially with all the women involved, like, none of them was, like, the slouch in the ring, so to speak, because it was a really it was a pretty good match. Despite the iffiness with the whole, like, Sasha Shotzi angle, mainly because they didn't really play that off. Like I said before, leading up to it, it was more Shotzi and Banks having problems. So I don't know where her issue with the other team came from in that match out of nowhere. But overall, the match itself was fine. It was I guess it was kind of cool to give Bianca another big moment for her career. So I think she's now had a moment at all 4 pay-per-views, or all the big 4 pay-per-views, I believe. But yeah, I do think it's very disrespectful to do that to them, or not just to the women, but in general. Like, the dude is already back. He's in a company that he wanted to go to and is flourishing in. Let that man be. And you don't. Okay, you prefer AEW. You're not an AEW show. You're at a WWE show that you paid your ticket for. So, what are you getting mad at? But I do applaud those people who tried to get them to, like, shut up, because, like I said, it's very disrespectful. But you also said, New York is one of those, like, tough wrestling crowds that if they are not, well, and even if they weren't entertained, I guess just booing or just not reacting at all is just actually might be more painful, because you just don't get no reaction at all. But I don't know. It's clear that it's not going to go away. So something we're just going to have to get dealt with. But I thought with him returning to the ring that we would hear less of those chants. But every so often you get those a-holes who just got to make their voices heard for some reason. But whatever.
Yeah,
I'm tired of
they're like those Mark fans, but yeah, I felt bad. I think they put on a good match. Usually, I always talk about how when there's more of them in the ring and it's sloppy. It wasn't very sloppy at all. I don't think there was any really, maybe aside from one or two things. It was.
I didn't mean the wrestling was sloppy. Just that whole.
No, I'm just saying for my sake when I always talk about when
okay,
there's more
sorry.
people. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the match. Like I said, I don't know. I rather wish they went to the bathroom, but what can you do?
Yeah, and entertained. Yeah, they would also be a tier talent AEW, but they would not get to showcase that talent because AEW only wants to give us one women's match on their TV program a week. So, and
it's usually Britt Baker, always. Not that I don't like Britt Baker. I'm just saying,
yeah,
I think Ruby Riott really hasn't done anything, since I know she had a title match, but I don't think she won, and now she has it. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say about that. But anyway, the final match. So Raw is up now, 5 matches to 1. The final match featured the WWE Champion representing Raw, Big E Langston, against the Universal Champion representing SmackDown, Roman Reigns, with his advocate in his corner, Paul Heyman. Big E came out first. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I noticed something about his entrance. They have a comic book in his background for his entrance, which I thought was cool. And it says issue 1, and how many pages it is. I'm hoping the issue 1 is referring, and it says it came out in July. Did he win the championship in July or no? No, right? He just won recently, right?
Yeah, he can't because he cashed in
on a Raw in October, possibly, right? Maybe. Whatever it is, he won recently.
He's only had the belt for about 2 months or so.
Okay.
So they brought up that Roman Reigns has been champion for 500 or so days, versus I think 60-something days for
So
yeah.
Maybe he won Money in the Bank in July, but whatever it is, the issue says July, so that could be noting his Money in the Bank win. And then it says issue 1, which could be his first championship. Well, I don't say first championship, first major heavyweight championship, like singles title heavyweight championship, right? WWE championship. Issue 1, so that is one title, and this is 42 pages. So the 42 pages could represent the 42 days he held the title. So it'd be interesting to watch if you watch Raw or whatever and see if that number changes in the top corner for more pages to represent how many days he's been champion. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, and then what?
I said no. I'm gonna keep a lookout for that and see if that's true.
And then the next thing is that obviously Roman Reigns came out and he had the biggest pop of the night when his music hit. I love his new music hearing in person because it was cool. I like the new theme. It's very telling of his character. I like how it reflects his character well, and how Skye was saying before. I mentioned before that he said he likes Roman Reigns' now slow, methodical promos because he's not quick like The Rock or The Miz or anybody or Cena. So he's got to be slow and methodical, and he does that in everything now. The way he wrestles, the way he walks to the ring, the way he embraces the music. He feels it all, and that's better to see that he's doing a much better job. Basically, when the bell rang, Roman Reigns pretty much dominated. People were really? They're gonna do him like Brock did Kofi, and how Bobby did Kofi. It was basically domination and nonstop by Roman Reigns. But Big E kept kicking out, doing everything. Finally, Big E was able to get some he got some punches in here and there, but Roman was countering everything and going for Superman punches, basically using his normal fighting style. Finally, Big E was able to get some offense in when they got to the outside, then back inside, and Big E hit 3 or 4 suplexes in a row, and that was pretty cool. Then I think it finally turned again when Roman tried to throw Big E into the ring steps, but Big E countered and threw Roman into it. And then they battled back into the ring. I think Roman tried to muster some energy and momentum, but Big E hit an Uranagi. And then they started fighting each other again. And then Roman went for a Superman punch 3 times, and Big E kept falling down, but hulking up, I guess. I don't know what his thing is, but he kept hulking up and coming back up. Then Big E went for a spear, but he did his hoo-ah thing, and when he looked up, Big E was just staring him in the face. Biggie speared Roman through the ropes, which looked really bad from our side. Like, I mean, like it looked really cool, but I mean, the landing looked bad. Like for Biggie, we thought he hurt himself, but he popped right back up. So thank God he was okay. Then I think Roman actually hit a spear. Biggie kicked out, and then Biggie hit a big ending, but Roman kicked out. I think he kicked out by holding. Actually, I don't know if he kicked out, but he held the ropes. They went back to the outside, and Roman went to slam onto the announcer table, and then the ring post and the barricade. Or did Biggie do that to him? One of them did that, and then Roman jumped off the ring steps and hit the Superman punch to Big E. They got back into the ring and he hit another Superman punch, and then went for a spear. Oh no, wait, did he go for? Yeah. He hit a Superman punch, and then he kicked Biggie's bad leg. Biggie went down. Roman Reigns hit the spear and got the 1, 2, 3 to win the match. So I just can't. There's a lot of spearing and suplexes going on. I can't remember which order it was exactly, but that's what happened. It was fun to see, and I don't know. Like, it was a good match. You know, like I just felt like it was dominated by Roman Reigns, and Biggie didn't really get to showcase some of his talent, which I know he has. He did some cool suplexes and some cool moves, but I felt like Biggie was kind of buried in this match. And but maybe that's for a purpose. I thought that was for a purpose. While it was happening, I legit thought it was for a purpose because to bring out The Rock kind of thing. I thought that was going to happen. I honest to God thought that was going to happen because that was the whole point of this happening. Him dominating, saying he's like, look, I beat your champion. I beat Brock. I beat Cena. There's no one that could beat me. I am the greatest. I thought he was going to get on the mic at the end of the night and sing all the accolades he's had and to finally be acknowledged because no one can beat him. And then I expected The Rock to come out. But as soon as the match ended and I saw Roman walking to the back, I'm like, oh no, that probably means no Rock. And I was really upset to hear that, see that. But other than that, did Biggie need to get dominated? Probably not. Could he have been showcased more? Yes. But Roman looked good, and he looked like a strong champion, which he is, and I'm loving his reign. I'm loving everything about him right now. So, did it tell a good story? Yes, but I thought it was going to be for The Rock, and it wasn't, so that kind of let me down. Your thoughts?
Yeah, overall, this was a really good match. I didn't think Big E was going to win at all. But they did try to keep him looking as strong as possible in this match. Like I said, I did love that spot where Reigns was going for the Superman punch, and like Biggie, just like when he looked up, Biggie was like standing up, like, "No, you're not." And then and I love like Roman's shocked expression of that as well. But yeah, overall, pretty good match. I think it was a good main event for the pay per view to show off like just how strong these two pretty are, and to I guess showcase why these are the faces of their respective shows for a reason. And but yeah, again, but then like you did say, with people thinking like The Rock would come out, they did kind of play on that a little bit by making Roman so dominant. I did like that there was no involvement from outside parties whatsoever, whether it be the Usos or Heyman or Woods. I did like that it was strictly one-on-one, because sometimes you do have to remind fans that he's the nefarious heel with the henchmen and the Usos, but when it comes down to business, he will get it done, and that is how you keep your heel champion strong for so long. If they are able to do it, if schedules allow, I believe we will see Rock versus Roman. I feel like that is what they want to do coming towards this upcoming WrestleMania, which is weird to say that is soon to be around the corner. It feels like we just started the new season for AfterMat, and now here we are again, almost gearing up for WrestleMania once again. But yeah, I do think that is definitely something that they want to do. People are saying they're going to try to hold off until when WrestleMania is in Los Angeles. By that point, I don't want Roman being champion, because I don't think he needs it at that point. Like, that'll be a whole another year and a half, and I'm like, it's good because I don't trust W to keep this character fresh for that long, of him being champion for that long. Maybe he'll lose it and regain it by that point, but we'll see. But they keep sowing those seeds, I guess, throwing that fishing rod out there, seeing what they can catch. If they can catch the big hulking rock in his 1,000 movies a year schedule. But if it happens, it's going to be great. If it doesn't, oh well, we're still getting Roman Reigns at the quote unquote height of his powers with this character going forward. And Big E is still looking strong. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with him on Raw and who his actual next like title contender opponent will be.
Yeah, we're due for a title change soon. For somebody. I mean, I feel like it's been like so many reviews without a title change. But I think we're due for a title change soon in some fashion. But
you're right. Now think about it, of who's all like current champions, with the exception, I guess, of Becky, because she's just the one who's the short to capture it. But yeah, we haven't had a major title change, but I guess as we're ramping up for the new year with the couple pay-per-views and we got the Rumble coming up, a lot of things can happen.
I see the next pay-per-view like that day one having somebody change championships. But
I was talking to Joe, so I was like, so this is the pay-per-view about the Usos, right?
Yeah. RK Bro first, you think? Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like if it is Brock versus Roman at Royal Rumble, will we see The Rock come out then and face challenger for WrestleMania? Maybe. But I don't know. I think the last time we had a big return at the Rumble, I mean, after the match was over, was Ronda Rousey, I believe, right? The one we were in Philly, but that was like after the pay-per-view ended and all that happened. Well, not after, I mean, the pay-per-view was still on air, but I mean, like, the actual pay-per-view matches ended and she came out. So we could have that with Brock.
Was that the first Women's Rumble match?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Brock versus Roman could end the night, which would most definitely end the night. Mm-hmm. Unless they face at day one. And Brock would lose. But I could see Brock winning the Rumble, too. If he loses, if they fight at day one, I can see Brock winning the Rumble. But if they don't fight at day one, then Brock will fight him at the actual Royal Rumble itself.
But can you imagine The Rock in the actual Royal Rumble match?
I wouldn't see that.
I would say, I know it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but it would just be really cool to see. Yeah. I'm just saying. Like, it wouldn't be as momentous as Edge giving because Edge was out for an injury.
Yeah.
But I feel like the uproar and applause will be on almost that same level.
And would he come out at number 25 for 25 years?
See? It all wraps up. It all comes together. They were playing the long game the whole time, Cal. No.
Yeah. So I don't know. These two champions, I'm interested to see where they go. But that brings us to the end of the evening with our finishers, and I'll let Alicia go first with her low point or high point and overall review. Welcome, Arrington. How are you?
I have to give it to the Battle Royal because it served no purpose at all. It served no one in that ring at all. And like we were saying before, like he is not on the level of anyone else in that ring. So for him to win, it's just like, oh yeah, we get it. You're big and you're strong. That's all you got going for you. High point. I think I'm gonna give it to. Shocking myself here. I think I'm actually gonna give it to Becky versus Charlotte because, like, going in, I was interested in the match, but I didn't have high expectations for the match, but they wound up doing like a really good job and just getting the crowd hyped up as being the first on the actual card match going forward to set the tone for the night. And overall, I think I'm gonna give it like that C plus B minus range, because like I said, it's like they forgot about the pay-per-view and then they threw it together at last minute, even though I know that's probably not the case. But we did get some good matches overall on the card, so I'm happy about that. So that's how I'm going to give it that like C plus B minus still passing range.
Okay, so for me, my low point is actually the pay-per-view concept itself. I am tired of Raw versus SmackDown. Like, it's stupid. Why do we need that? Like, have another night for that. Raw versus SmackDown. And if you want to have your champions face each other, do that I know they switch between names of Night of Champions and Clash of Champions. But do it at that. Clash of Champions makes so much more sense, having both champions go against each other at Clash of Champions. I know they started changing it to Night of Champions, but make it Clash of Champions again and have them face each other. Because I'm tired of seeing the champion versus champion, where you could actually have two different title matches in that night, especially because it's a big four. Have two different title matches in that night with each champion fighting somebody else. That would be cooler to see than having them face each other. I'm tired. I'm sick of this concept now. And as also for, like we were talking about, Entertainment saying earlier, make it mean something too. For when the classic traditional Survivor Series match, make that mean something too. So the actual concept of Survivor Series needs a refresh. I'm tired of it. The high point, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Roman's entrance and his persona, I guess I like seeing that. I like seeing him in person as Roman Reigns, not as Roman Reigns, the member of the Shield, as I've seen him before. I've never really seen him as Roman Reigns. I've always seen him as the member of the Shield. So seeing him like as his own character that's finally developed and embraced by the universe, I think that was probably my top moment of the night. And then overall grade, I'll probably give it a C minus, D plus, because I was not happy with the Rock not being there, first of all, and just like I said, the concept. I'm not happy with the concept anymore. I'm tired of this Raw versus SmackDown, brand versus brand. Make it on another night. Like, they can easily add a pay-per-view and have, Raw versus SmackDown, and then have because I think they used to do that before, right? Like, where they used to have Raw versus SmackDown on a different pay-per-view. It was called Bragging Rights. Yeah, that was it. Bragging Rights was a pay-per-view where they used to have Raw versus SmackDown, and then have Clash of Champions be your champion versus champion from each brand. Make Survivor Series what it used to be, where it had, like, mostly traditional Survivor Series matches that had grudges. Like, they actually had grudges that went into like, there would be, like, a grudge between, like, Shawn Michaels and Diesel, and then they would make their own teams, and then they'd face each other. Or, like, Bret Hart versus Jerry the King Lawler. They'd have a grudge, and then they'd find people to join their team, and then they'd face each other. Like, that was more interesting to me than, like, just say, let's put a bunch of superstars together and represent their brand, and now they don't even care because they're going to walk out and just sacrifice their own, place in the match for the ego, Make it mean something, like how it did back in the day. That's what I want to see. That's why I got the low grade. But other than that, I enjoyed being there. I'm glad I got to check it off my bucket list. Do I wish the pay-per-view was better? Yes. Do I wish The Rock was there? That would have probably made it an A for me if he was there. But it was fun. I had a good time. Raj had a good time. And I'm glad some of the stuff that came across on live came across to you guys on camera as well. So, Delisha, before we go, can you let them know where we can find you and what's going on?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at DelishaReneeTV. I do also have a YouTube channel. It's supposed to be under the same name, but the link for it is different because I need a certain amount of subscribers to customize a actual YouTube link for my channel, because I created this channel back in 2005. I mean, the actual YouTube account. But yeah, where I post health recipes and vlogging about my life. Currently vlogging my pregnancy journal at pregnancy journal. Well, pregnancy brain, more like it. Pregnancy journey, as this is our first child, and it's interesting to say the least. And people seem to be enjoying it versus the comments and the views. So I've been enjoying that as well. Yeah,
and don't forget all her information is in the link description down below. As for me, or as for us, actually, first, the next time you'll see us, there's no pay-per-views in December anymore, at least for now, this year. The next pay-per-view will be day 1.
Well, there's none for Raw or Smack. I mean, there's none for the main roster, so to speak.
Oh, yeah, there's NXT TakeOver, but we don't really cover that, right? Well, not TakeOver, it's something else, like War Games or something? I don't know what it is. It's something. But there's something coming for, it's an old I know it's an old WCW name, but whatever it is. Anyway, the next Raw, SmackDown, WWE main roster pay-per-view will be day 1. It'll be on January 1st, which is a Saturday, so you'll probably see us that Monday after on January 3rd, and then immediately following that, we'll be back for Royal Rumble when that comes out. But the next time you will see us here in AfterMat will be in the new year, so this is the last pay-per-view for us for this calendar year. But in the new year, you'll see us bright and early on January 3rd for day 1. But as for me, I'll be streaming video games again come December 8th, because Halo Infinite will be coming out, so I'll be going through the campaign and that, and possibly with Halo co-op, unless I go to school at night. If I go to school at night, then I won't be able to do it co-op with her. I'll just be playing it myself, or maybe I'll do it with her as well. Both ways, we'll see. But yeah, that's the next time you'll see me. But you can always find me here on the Kingslayer Network, here on YouTube and Twitch, and on Twitter, and on Discord. So make sure you check us out there. Until next time, guys, keep slamming the haters and be the champion of dreams. We'll see you later.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on